What if there is a way to create a resume that sells you well enough to get the ideal job that you want? Hi, I'm Marissa Santoro, and I teach professionals how to own their authority so they can increase their influence, double their network, and attract more career opportunities. It's a question I'm often asked. I have all this experience and I really want to be able to sell myself effectively and get in the door with that first interview, but I'm not selling it. Well, it's good that we're using the word selling, right? Because that's what a resume is, right? It's a sales sheet, it's a marketing sheet. And the only purpose of a resume is to get them to keep reading down, right? To get them to keep scrolling down. And the best way to do that is if you highlight your core competencies, right? What are the key stakes in the ground that you want them to focus on? There's not going to be a whole lot. Usually there are just three main categories. So when we talk about core competencies, I'm talking about really major headlines, right? So that if I were to see you in person, or if I were to see you on LinkedIn, or if I were to see your resume, right? Everything that you represent in terms of your experience, your skill sets, your lessons learned, right? Your career story, right? That storyline, that overarching storyline should go through these three main categories, or what's called your core competencies, right? The main headlines. So as an example, let's say you're a product manager, right? And maybe a core competency, typically what I've seen with core competencies is, you'll have one category with product management, you might have another one with customer relationship management, you might have another one with product design, right? And so these are your three main categories. So that's great. But then you could say, Marissa, okay, I have my categories, but how do I really put them forward, right? Well, what you want to do is you want to flesh out those main categories. And to get there, the best gutsy strategy tool that you have at your fingertips is called mind mapping. If you haven't heard of mind mapping is where you take everything, it mimics how the brain works. You take everything in your head that you could think of relating to all of your experience and your skills and your business acumen and technical acumen, and you put it on paper and you literally mind map categories of information. Just get it down on paper, branching out like a tree, what those core competencies flesh out to look like. So if you think about, a tree, you have this main top level and then it branches off to sub-levels. That top level is your core competency, your major headline category. And if you want to get in the door with your resume, you have to have those three main stakes in the ground, right? To land the plane, to make sure that they keep reading down on your resume. So a lot of times we have so much experience. That's one of the biggest obstacles that professionals say. I have all this experience, but how can I get it down? Well, when you're mind mapping, and by the way, there's lots of tools for this. One of the tools that I like a lot, you get 3 free mind maps. It's called mindmeister.com. Mindmeister.com. What you do is you just let that stream of consciousness flow. You let whatever's coming up for you in your career, all of the experience, and you just pick your spots and you lay it out as a tree, see where everything falls, walk away for a few days, come back to it, and then you might shuffle things around. But at the end of the day, your resume has to hit the beats on three main areas, right? Three main categories, your core competencies. So that way they can see, okay, these are the main storylines that he or she represents, that he or she is leading with, that he or she is looking to replicate for me in my shop, as replicating those same successful results for me. Right? And so the beauty of this is that when you have those laid out at the very top of your resume, everything that you talk about on the interview, on a phone call, is acting like a filtration system. It has to go through that funnel. It has to go through those core competencies. Hey, before I forget, be sure to download my free audio leadership course down below, which will give you the exact steps on how to own your authority in your career. All right, so in order to get started, digging into that resume, don't sweat the technical and the formatting and the layout. That comes after. That's actually the easy part. The most challenging part of getting your resume and having it sell you effectively is to really hit those beats and just mind map and really brain dump is really a better way of saying it. Brain dump all of those, all of the things that would land underneath those categories, right? I'm Marissa Santoro with In Our Shoes, supporting professionals on how to own their authority in their career. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye now.